This is math lesson 8.1. We're dealing with functions now. And our learning target for this lesson will be to complete function tables. This right here is a function table. We got to complete it. We got to fill it in. Um, and we have to find function rules. So what's happening to the numbers? Okay. Um, First thing I want to do is I want to define function. Um, we think of function as something has purpose, like it functions correctly. The car starts, it functions. Um, but like if I have a car, I put the key in it, it starts, it's functioning. So I put the key in it, it functions. My output is I get to drive. Okay. So function is what is happening. Something goes in, something happens, and something comes out. You have a result. Um, and so right here, you have your input. This right here is the function. It's kind of like also if you have a machine, you have this is the raw material, the ingredients going into the machine. It does this and then output. Okay? Like when you bake cookies, you have all the ingredients. You put them together a certain way, you bake it, and your output is hopefully a cookie. It's what you get. Okay? Now, input is X, and output is Y. Now, those are important. They're not variables. Um, when we go to graph a table, it's the X and the Y lines. Okay, so it's on a graph coordinates, but we'll get to that later. So first of all, we just want to practice. If we have an input, we got the function. We got to put this in the function and see what comes out. Okay, so x minus 4, x is all of these. So instead of x here, I'm going to put 4 minus 4. If I have 4, it goes in this function. 0 comes out. Okay? 7. 7 minus 4. I'm just replacing x with this input. 7 minus 4, 3 comes out. Okay? 10. 10 goes in. Minus 4 equals 6. Okay? So what is happening every time? Whenever you put something in, it's becoming 4 less. And so the function is x minus 4. Okay? It's pretty basic, but you gotta understand. There's your input. You put it in here. You get your output. Okay? Now, we could do it with putting inputs in, putting them in the function, and getting output. Or, if we have the output, we could go the reverse way to figure out what the input was. Okay? Let's go over here and let's do one of those. Okay. I didn't fill in this one. 17, 20, 29. 17, 20, 29. Okay. So, come back over here. We have a function table. This is called the function table. We have the input, the function, and then we have the output. Now on this one, we know what the function is, we know what the output is. Okay? When I think of output, I think this is what you get. This is what it all equals. Once I put it in, do this, it gets me this. So we could use the algebra equations that we just learned to figure out what the input is. Okay? So 3x plus 2. I'm going to come over here. 3x plus 2 equals, I'm going to say this for my output. I want my output to be 17. So let's see what it gets. Okay, now I'm eventually trying to get this x all by itself. I'm going to get rid of this 2 first. So minus 2 here, minus 2 here. That gives me 3x equals 15. Okay? Now, I can get rid of what's next to the x. What's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 3. So I have to do the inverse, divide it by 3. Divide that by 3, divide that by 3. That gives me x equals 5. So I'm suggesting that on this one, my input is 5. If I put 5 in, it does this function, it's going to give me 17. Okay? So let's do it. 3. Now, I put the parentheses around there. If you remember with the distribution property, whenever you have this, it's 3 times this. Wherever there's parentheses and something's right next to it, it means you're multiplying that. Okay? If I would do 3 times 5 plus 2, looks like 35 plus 2. I need some way to say that I'm multiplying. I can't do that because now that looks like a variable, and I don't want x in my problem. So I could do a dot. A dot also means multiplication, but what I always like to do, and this is the most common thing, is you do a little parentheses. You're saying this, parentheses, times this. Okay, so you're timesing those two. You just make sure you know that that's multiplication. All right, so let's do it. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Okay, and order of operations tells me to do the multiplication first. All righty, so I was correct on that one. I'm going to try this 20. I have my function, 3x plus 2. This time, the output is 20. So let's see what I get here. Get rid of this 2. That gives me 18. 3x equals 18. I divide each side by 3. That gets me 6. X equals 6. Let's try it. Put 6 here. 3 times 6 plus 2. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. All right, cool. Let's do one more. This time the output is 29. Same function, new output. So with a new output, I need a new input. Minus 2 on each side. That gets me 27. Those cancel. 3x divided by 3 divided by 3. X equals 9. Okay? So I'm going to put 9 here. Let's see. Remember a function, the definition of a function is that you have, for a function, for exactly one output, you have one input. Okay? If I put a 9 in here, put it in the function, I'm not going to get either 29 or 30 or 30. I'm not going to get multiple. It's 1 to 1. For one input, you get one output. Let's see if this is the correct one. 3 times 9 plus 2. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 2 more is 29. All right. Now, you see that this 3x, x goes here, and we say our input is always x. That's why this number goes right there. You fit that in there, the 6 goes there, the 9 goes there, then you do it, and you see if it works. Okay? So that is function tables with what a function is and how to find the output if you have the input and the function, or how to find the input if you have the output and the function. Okay? We're applying our algebra skills that we just learned. So, all right, go ahead, give it a try, and watch the guided practice, and let me know if you have any questions.